What's going on, Soul Tribe? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and are you ready to work with these energies these weeks? Set some intentions, because it's a pretty busy one this week, and it's all happening all like really jam packed on like Saturn Day, and like there's a little bit I think on Sunday too. Yeah, just a little bit of Sunday, but Saturn Day in particular is very jam packed. Got a lot of Saturn influence going on and some Mercurial things, and we'll talk about all that here in a moment. The sun's gonna change signs here soon, and I'll go ahead and get into this since we're almost there for you Aquarius suns out there. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. We're almost into Aquarius season, so that's always a really exciting time there too. My Leo placements, if feel some kind of way about it, but it's fine. But if you are new here, again, my name is Justin, and one of the things that I do is talk about the celestial news that's going on weekly, that's going on in the sky, the chit chat that's happening up there, and I will be covering this the week of January 16th through the 22nd. Let's get into this thing. Because on Saturday, the 18th of January, so yeah, we got three transits that we're going to be talking about this day, and we're really going to kind of get into this stuff. But the first one is going to be happening at 3:27 p.m. and that's going to be Pacific time, and that's going to be when the sun is going to be forming a sextile with the north node, which means that the sun will be forming a trine with the south node. We'll get into that in a moment, but this is happening at 29 degrees and 7 minutes. The sun is in Capricorn, the north node is in Pisces, and so that means the south node's in Virgo. So the sun, this is that inner light, that sense of who you are, that light that guides us to that calling to our highest purpose. And the North Node is kind of similar in that as well. I feel like it's like it's like a calling that's happening. It's like the energy of where you're going, in a sense, where you're looking forward to, what you want to accomplish. It's the dragon's head. Whereas the dragon's tail, it's a complex one with the dragon's tail. It's also, you can think about it where you've been. This could be things in the past, the things that you've put behind you, but there's wisdom in the past, and you use those insights to help you navigate to the present, because if you don't know where you came from, you don't know where you're going. So that's why those two work well, or how they work together. And you get into, when we talk about between the sun and the north node, that sextile energy, the sextiles are when the planets are 60 degrees apart. And so I like to think of them as having like Venusian in nature. So there's this excitable energy that's happening. There's these opportunities that are created. And whether this comes in the form of ideas, this could be something that someone literally offering you in a way of moving some things forward there. But when we're talking between the sun and the north node, and I like that this happening between Capricorn and Pisces. This to me feels like this would be an idea coming up, because both Capricorn and Pisces are feminine in nature. So there's a receptivity. Pay attention to what any sort of ideas that come up, whether you hear them on a podcast, maybe you hear someone saying something that kind of sparks a train of thought, you go down your own kind of rabbit hole. It's like, I never thought about something like that. And it may open up some insights for you as far as, and you want to look to see where you have Pisces in your chart, because the Pisces part of the chart is getting a lot of action right now. So you want to pay attention to what kind of insights. Maybe you get a new idea for a project that you're building. Maybe you get a new lead on a new home that you're wanting to get. Maybe you find an idea to make a connection with a person to get you to where you need to be. Maybe this is a new financial idea. Again, look to see what house this is coming up for you. But this could be this at the same time, how I was saying how the sun is forming that trine with the south node. The trine energy, both the sextile and the trines are the most positive aspects, and I like to think of the trine as Jupiterian in nature. So there's movement, there's a chance for new beginnings, and how I could see that happening with the south node is this is seeing how something went before where something wasn't working properly, and getting the movement. So it's like, oh my gosh, like, why didn't I think of that sooner? I was doing this way and just beating my head against the wall when I could have been doing it this way and could be saving more time and do all these things, and hence the ideas that things start sparking up. It's just like, oof. So that's how it's a subtle energy, though, I feel like, with that, where it'll start with that sextile. So again, if you can find some time I feel during this Saturn day, or I think during the Saturn day, there could be some things some feelings that may come up, some intuitive downloads that may come here for you, some ideas in a sense. So those would be just some kind of practical ways that I would say to work with those ones. Now the next transit, this is all happening on this 18th. So a little bit, a couple hours later, at about 5:26 p.m., Venus and Saturn are going to be forming a conjunction in Pisces. Now, the conjunctions are when the planets are at the same degree, and this has happened at 16 degrees and 5 minutes. So if you have any points around that energy of Pisces, or even like if you have like Gemini or Sag, and even like Virgo, this could be working a bit more personal, because this is going to be forming like squares and oppositions and things, more call for action. But the conjunctions are when the planet, they're you can think of them as like a fusion of energies, but it's also the seeding process. Something new is forming with that Venusian and that Saturnian thing. So one example that I was thinking about to talk about this, Venus is about, you have the lesser benefic Venus and the greater malefic Saturn coming together. So this could be, maybe you have some sort of hard task that needs to be done. Maybe the doctor tells you that, hey, you have to do some exercise. This is just like, it's non-negotiable. You have to do this exercise or life's just going to be difficult. And Venus doesn't want things to be difficult. She wants you to enjoy. She wants things to, just to be as pleasant as possible. So, when you think about exercise, I would imagine some people think like, oh my gosh, I got to run a bunch of miles, or I got to go sign up for a gym, or I have to do these things. But this, I think, conjunction could be an invitation with that Venus flare to be like, okay, sure, I got to work out, but maybe I can do this in the form of dancing, possibly. Or maybe, because that'll get you working up a sweat, and you'll get some new moves. Very Venusian. But maybe this is too, we're talking Pisces, maybe this involves swimming, doing some more kind of water exercise. You still get cut up being a swimmer. Or maybe this is, just kind of playing around with some different types of things. Maybe pick up like tennis or something. They'll go pick up a sort of sport, maybe play. I saw a commercial with people playing like handball. Go see what that's about. But that could be just, again, as just a sort of mundane type of way of this manifesting. That's one way I could see. But one thing I like to do when we talk about conjunctions, considering they're happening on the same degree, there's this focus of that degree, I like to talk about the Sabian symbols that are happening at these conjunction points. And this one brought up a lot. It was something that I really was kind of thinking about. But this is phase 347 of Pisces. And I would, if it's something that you're curious in, when I was reading this book, my sun placement is at 15 degrees of Cancer, but it's the 16th degree when you're reading this, and it talks about me studying things with an ancient book, a mandala with an ancient book. But check out this book, An Astrological Mandala. It's really dope. Dane Rudd here. It's a really, really cool book. It adds just like, I feel like it invites you in a way to, it gets you philosophizing and gets you really kind of thinking about some things, kind of expanding your, adding just some richness to the astrology. But yes, phase 347 of Pisces, and it's an Easter parade. And the keynote for this is the capacity inherent in all great socio-cultural images to unite the members of a community in a display of excellence. And when I think about that, when I think about Venus and how the things that attract us, the things that magnetize us, and I feel like the thing that comes with that Saturn aspect is the responsibility for, if, let's say, I can throw this big parade, but if no one shows up for it, like I mean like the people who are supposed to be in the parade, the audience, then nothing happens. And it just got me thinking about the things that you support. Are you doing this thing just because everybody else is doing some sort of things, because it's like, this is what society in a sense has said is the display of excellence? Or is there something else that you want to support, some other form of beauty, Venus, that you want to see in the long term, Saturn, and the things that you invest in the long term, in the effects, whether it be an Easter parade, or I'm thinking about the Olympics, how that brings us together, just like things, certain images, how we have even like this image of like what home should be like, what safety should be like, and the types of things that will attract you, just, it got me thinking about some stuff. And I feel like that's a conversation for a whole other time. But I do think that there is something about the power of symbolism, and how that, and our responsibility for this. It's like thinking about how the things that are important to us as a collective, how that reflects on an individual level. We all have to constantly or consciously make these choices. So there's just something in there, I think, that's worth exploring if you do find yourself with that kind of time there. But moving on from that, a little bit later in the last kind of transit during this day, which is going to be happening a little late at about 11:38 p.m., Mercury is going to be forming a sextile with Saturn. And this is going to be happening at 16 degrees and 6 minutes. Mercury's in Capricorn and Saturn's still in Pisces. And again, that sextile is that exciting energy. So this to me is Mercury, that understanding, that reason, that communication is is okay. I see the idea, and now this is an opportunity to put in that work. Like, okay, I understand that maybe things might feel like, say, let's go back to the workout reference at first. It may feel a little grueling, like maybe doing the laps for the swimming, doing the steps for the dancing, maybe feel a little awkward, a little uncoordinated, but over time it's like there's an understanding that in the long run, this is going to make the body feel stronger. This is going to unlock a number of skills and whatever that looks like. Even if you're just learning for health, now you know how to swim. You're a stronger swimmer, or you're a stronger dancer. You're more coordinated. And that dancing, just thinking about that, could even translate into just your everyday task. You have better ranges of motion. You can do things just differently. It just unlocks a lot of things for you. So that, to me, that Mercury Saturn opportunity, that sextile there is again, the work is still there with Saturn, but it's just easier to do. It's like the mentality, the will behind it feels more approachable, in a sense, if we were, instead of something as we were to like force ourselves to kind of do something here. So that's this day is a real kind of jam-packed one, and I think that it really is understanding that sun sextile, the north node is the problems that are maybe kind of coming up, or where life is at right now. If I don't like where things are going, there's an opportunity to shift things a little bit. I feel like the planets are always setting us up to, like, okay, you can always course correct. We're going through cycles here, and then there's just different themes that are popping up there. So check that Capricorn and that Pisces part. Those are going to be the two that are very active during this day here. And you could find a lot of the insights as far as like what more specifics are going on for you in that house. So just something to think about there. Now let's get into Sunday, because that's going to be the 19th of January, and at about 8:31 a.m. Mercury is going to be forming a sextile with Venus. So like a lot of, this is ultimately a very positive little pocket here that's happening, but I don't think it'll necessarily be, I think that it's going to be the start of something dynamic. Like these are that seeding process with the conjunction is shifting things in a new direction. It's like, I've been noticing, I've been magnetizing the same type of thing that Venus Mercury sextile, and I'm either not liking this and I need to shift it this way, or I can take something and expand upon this thing, kind of take it a bit further there. So I think that Venus sextiling, or Mercury that is sextiling Venus, is just, it's almost, I think, even like, how do I want to put that? I can just see that as taking the ideas and they're becoming a bit more concrete, as far as like, I know I want to attract these changes, I want to do these things, but now Mercury is actually able to put words to something. Maybe you come across, you go to work with a coach or something like that, and they give you an idea for something here. That's just some ways that I could see this. Again, these are very subtle transits that are going to be going on there. So be receptive, be keen, paying attention to anything that may seem like, oh, what what a coincidence. I would just happen to be thinking about this stuff. No such thing as coincidences. It's all lined up there for a reason. Explore that. Trust your intuition. Like that's really what a very intuitive time, I think, as well, to kind of pay attention to what's going on there. And I think that'll carry in nicely to, or this might be kind of a trickier one here, because at 12:01 p.m., the sun will enter into Aquarius. And where, yes, that's exciting, it's Aquarius season, like I'm not trying to take the party out of Aquarius season, but this is where the sun finds his detriment in, because he's farthest away from his home sign of Leo. And so it's not that the sun can't function here, but it's just that Aquarius energy is one, ruled by Saturn, so we're under Saturn's rulership when the sun's there. But Aquarius is the fixed air sign, and I like to think of them as they're the visionaries. But Aquarius is one in particular I find that if you can hold it in your, be careful about what you hold in your head when you get fixated on a certain thought, because then you can attract those types of things. And with so much attractive energy that's in the air right now, with the sextiles, Venus in the mix, if you are not in a very desirable situation, or if you're noticing that you've been in a very kind of negative headspace as of late, it's like, how do you shift that mentality and move it towards these new ideas that you want to go towards? Because you could have all the ideas in the world, but if when you're in that state of feeling depressed or kind of beat up, or even feeling like angry and things, that sort of clouds the insights in a way. And it makes the vision kind of murky, where it's like, I would love for this to happen, but maybe don't believe in yourself. There's that maybe low self-esteem that might come into the mix there. Because now it's getting more logical, where the sun is just more about being active. Like, both Aquarius and Leo are active, but Leo is just that expression of will. This is the fire energy, as opposed to the air is more about the idea, the planning, the whole getting things said, the making sense of the things. And Leo just likes to do. Like, you just let the spirit move you, and we'll figure it out as we go. Spirit's fueling me. So I think that's why you can think of as the sun has a hard time in Aquarius, because now it's like trying to understand why spirit may be moving you in a certain direction, or why these things may be coming up now, or it may feel like, well, I missed my opportunity to do this. Like, I won't be able to do it like I would have been able to do it 5 years ago, but it's like, it doesn't matter, do it now. But this could be maybe you haven't played a certain sport in a while and you just want to pick that back up. Maybe you haven't played an instrument in a while. Maybe you haven't painted in a while. Maybe you haven't done this thing in a while. And it's just like, won't feel the same like it used to, but it filled you up. Back in the day, maybe it was something that just brought you to life, and maybe you just are thinking too much about it. So that's something where I could see where there's just like a little bit of challenge with that sun in Aquarius. However, I think that it's when sometimes when you have that planning, just keep the focus, get a vision board during this period of time. I think this would be great, or have some sort of images to keep the energy motivated, to keep the idea locked in. I think Aquarius is one that really benefits, I think, more than a lot of the signs, especially just like, because if they can see it, and I can hold it, it's not just this intangible Pisces feeling type of thing. It's like, I can lock this in, I can give it form, because being Saturn ruled, Saturn likes to work within some boundaries. It's nice to have a framework for some things. So just some things to just kind of meditate on. And I know that's a lot to kind of throw your way there. And again, try not to let this be where something just overwhelming. Just look to see where you have Aquarius. If you're Leo rising like myself, is getting ready to move into your relationship house. So maybe this is getting a teacher, getting a sense, maybe you're becoming a teacher. Maybe there's something that's going on in your relationships. Maybe you're partnering with someone. Maybe your partner has some good ideas. Whatever that might be. Like, maybe they're providing the support. So it's just like, you can break this down. And if you take a minute and think about it, it's just like, oh, No, that does make sense. But if you want someone to help you make a little bit more sense of that, maybe this astrology makes your head spin, down in the description box below, I have a link for all the services that I provide, and we can work this out together, and find it doesn't have to be so fantastical, the things that need to be done. Most of the time when I'm talking with people about things, it's really just kind of everyday things. I just told someone else the other day, we're going some transits right now, like some third house, or yeah, it was like third house, and the next was going to be 11th house. And it's like, one common theme is that there's friends in there, and that was a theme that they had been struggling in, is making friends. So it's like, that's a practical way of working with this. Get Facebook friends, download Bumble, do the things, and then tell me how that works. So yeah, that's something that you find that resonates with you. Again, all that stuff is down in the description box below. Excuse me. And also, if you want to work with the moon more personally, especially if you have Cancer placements, because the moon is one that governs. If you have a lot of focus in Cancer, then check out my other channel, also down in the description box below, the Chariot and Friends, where I talk about all the lunar shenanigans, discuss how to work with the different signs when she's in different phases, all that really great lunar stuff. So again, all that stuff resonates with you, down in the description box. But until next time, stay mindful out there. Keep raising that vibration through the roof. And I will catch you on the next one. When am I catch? Oh yeah, Mercury Day.